Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter Rise, and today I'm going to be bringing you my Greatsword guide. Now, this is the weapon that you want to equip if all you care about is seeing big numbers on screen. Because when it comes to producing numbers, no weapon can produce numbers higher than the Greatsword. In terms of its combos and attacks, I consider it to be a fairly simple weapon. It is not that complex. However, it still requires some of the most skill from the hunter who wields it, at least in my opinion. And the reasoning why is because the attacks from the Greatsword are very slow. These are charged attacks. You're going to have to be charging, and you're going to have to be sitting stationary. And in order to do that effectively, you're going to have to know the monsters that you're fighting against. You're going to have to know what their moves are and when it is going to be safe for you to punish their moves with big, meaty chops. But as per usual, we're going to be starting with the very basics. Right now I have the default switch skills equipped. In case you guys are wondering, those are Tackle, True Charge Slash, and Hunting Edge. And as we progress throughout the video, I'll show you guys all of the other Silkbind attacks and switch skills and stuff like that, and tell you guys my opinions on each of those. So let's get started. As per with every weapon, if you just press the X button from a stationary position, you're going to draw your weapon. What other draws can you do when it comes to the Greatsword? Well, you can be running around, you can press X, you're going to get an overhead slash, or you can run around and press ZR, and you're going to get a guard. Those are the two draws that you can do from the Greatsword, and the important thing about that X attack is that you can charge it from the moment that you draw it. So if you hold X down, you're going to go into a charged attack. So you can straight up draw into a charged attack. You'll notice that I instantly dodged sideways. I've told you guys this throughout all of the other guides, but in case this is the first one that you are watching, there's usually a recovery animation at the end of each attack, which takes quite a bit before you can move again, like you can see. Like, I was pressing a direction immediately after that charge attack, like I'm just going to press backwards. Look how long it takes us to recover. However, if instead of waiting around, you just dodge out of it immediately after you finish the attack, you skip that recovery animation and you instantly get out of it and you're pretty much good to go. So keep that in mind, and remember to dodge at the end of your attacks unless you plan on following up those attacks with more attacks. Now let's get started with the very basics and talk about your X attack, which from a drawing position gives you the overhead slash. However, like I told you, you can hold down X for a charge slash. And if you follow it up with another X input, you're going to get a slap. Like that. You get that side blow. That side blow actually deals impact damage, so you can KO monsters with it, but it's not something that you're going to be doing all that often, so don't worry too much about the side blow. However, if you input a direction after the first attack, so like right now I'm pressing forward, you're going to get another charge, and if you keep doing that and you keep pressing forward, you're going to get yet another charge, and that is going to get you into True Charge Slash. And after that, you get a lengthy recovery animation, or you can dodge out of it after a while, but there's going to be a hefty recovery at the end of True Charge Slash no matter what you do. But if you keep inputting a direction, you go through these 3 charge phases. And that's kind of like the basics of your charge attacks. At any point in time, you can interrupt with the slap if you want to. Although I'm not sure why you would want to do that. So like, for instance, I can do a tier 2 charge and then side blow. And that'll, you know, deal damage to the monster and whatnot. So let's talk about these charge attacks. You know, you come up to the monster, you charge up an attack, and you're just like, yeah, 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 boom! 200 damage, baby! And it's like, okay, that's alright. But that's not all you can do. Because there's 3 levels of charge to each of your attacks. There's red, and then I believe it's like some orange, right? And then there's white, and then there's orange again. So what does that mean? You'll notice that the sword cycles through different colors. In this particular set, I have focus level 3, so it goes a little bit faster. But what does that mean? Well, ideally, you want to release the second it hits that third charge. So you don't want to wait all the way. You don't want to just keep the button pressed all the way because you're actually going to be dealing less damage. So like, let me actually lower the head of the monster here because it'll make it a little bit easier to show you the numbers. But if I just hold it down all the way, here's how much damage we're going to be dealing. 346. Not bad. Now, however, if I go ahead and I release it when you reach white, 510. Now, I would say that is considerably more, so therefore you want to make sure that you release this at the apex of the charge and not after it, because otherwise you're going to get punished and you're going to deal less damage. So that's one of the first things that you want to get used to doing with the greatsword, so make sure you find the apex of the charge, which is right there, boom, and then release. Do not charge it all the way, otherwise you're going to deal less damage. Like that, 262. Ooh. Although this weapon has negative affinity and brutal strike, so sometimes numbers can get a little bit weird. But anyway, just remember that you have to release the charge attack at the right time instead of holding it all the way, and this goes for every single one of the charge attacks with the greatsword. So, for instance, you get 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So that is going to require quite a bit of practice from some of you guys. I mean, it depends on how easily you can adapt to the potential of this weapon, but just remember to practice it and don't hold the damage in all the way. Always release at the apex of the charge, as that will deal the most damage. I cannot emphasize this enough, okay? You can know all of the moves of the weapon. If you're releasing the button too late, you're going to be nerfing your damage so friggin' hard that it's going to be crazy, okay? So keep practicing that and make sure you get at least that part right. Like right there, I missed it, right? And here I would have missed it as well. But you know, there's also the fact that sometimes you can't charge it all the way, right? If you can't charge it all the way, then just charge as much as you can and release. That's another important thing. Don't think too much about just, you know, oh, I got to get my maximum charge every single time. No, if the monster is going to run away, then you just get your one charge. Don't worry about it. Or if the monster is being too fast for you to even, you know, get a charge attack in, then just smack him. Just deal damage. Just keep on dishing out damage, because ultimately, if you keep dealing damage, eventually you're going to stagger a monster or something, get a trip, and get an opening that's going to allow you to just unleash the beast. Okay? Now, another thing that you can do, like I told you, you can draw into a block, and you can block at any point in time. So like if you feel like, oh, I'm about to take damage, you can pop ZR, block. Although to be honest, I personally don't tend to block that often. I tend to just eat damage with the greatsword because I'm not particularly good at playing this weapon. But there is another defensive option, and the other defensive option is pressing A while you're charging. So say you're charging, right? You're doing your thing. You're like, yeah, eat that. And oh no, the monster's coming. Press A. You go into that tackle. And that tackle is going to go through monster attacks. So let me actually see if I can show you guys here without messing this up too much. Actions. I haven't tried this on the stomp. I'm probably going to mess it up, but I'm still going to try it. Come on, get the charge in. Right there. We went through it, and basically, you'll still take damage, by the way, because that thing gives you hyper armor, but you still take the damage. But you basically get some kind of a defensive move that allows you to withstand some attacks. And you can do this at any point during any of the charges. So like you're doing number 1, you're doing number 2 charge, and you're like, nope. And the other thing about that tackle is that it skips one charge value. So what does that mean? That means that you can use the tackle to skip over the first couple of charges and go straight into true charge slash if that's what you want to do. So you can just run up to the monster, start charging, press A, start charging again, press A, start charging again, and you're in true charge slash. And I actually missed it like an idiot. But there you go. That's one of the things that you can do with tackle besides, you know, going through monster attacks. Also, tackle deals impact damage, as you can see, so you can actually KO monsters with it as well. So, you know, there's that. It's a very versatile move, and it is something that you're going to want to get used to. So if you see a monster attack coming your way, use the tackle to go through it. And, you know, you still take damage, but at least you don't miss out on whatever it was that you were planning. And keep in mind, even if you're in the final one, you can keep tackling. So long as you have stamina, you can keep going for it. You can just sit here and spam tackles all day long. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that's a tackle move. What else can you do with the A attack besides tackling? Well, the A attack gives you circular moves. You get the wide sweep, and you can interweave these in the middle of your X combo. Now, if you do it after the first charge, it's not really going to do much for you. So you can go like charge, 1, 2, 3, bam, and then you can go wide sweep, and it goes back right to the first charge if you press X. So that's not really something that you want to do. But you can use it after the second sweep, the second charge, and that will advance you to true charge slash. So like 1, 2, 3, and then you're into the second one. Now you do A again, strong wide slash, and you can go into true charge slash. So you can use A in between your combos, and they say in the Hunter's Notes that the A attack deals additional damage if you have like more elemental damage or status ailments, but that's not really the Greatsword's specialization, so I don't really tend to use it all that often, but just know if you have a weapon with a lot of elemental damage, then that particular attack is pretty damn good, you know, to use that elemental damage. Or, you know, if you have a weapon with status like Blast, like say you got Magnum Hollow's Greatsword, then yeah, that one will deal a little bit more status effect than regular attacks. Just something to keep in mind. And also, that attack deals more damage depending on whether or not you charged that second charge. So if you just do one without charging, it's going to deal less damage. Just keep that in mind. The level of charge affects the level of damage that you deal with that attack, although that attack is not really super important. Anyway, if you keep spamming A, you're going to go into a tackle and then a leaping wide slash. These are not things that I personally tend to do very often because the whole thing about the Greatsword is the charge potential of it, but these are fairly fast, and as a matter of fact, you can get into an infinite combo, not that you would want to, by alternating between X and A, so you can go like X, A, X, A, X, A, and it's just a kind of like a fast attack. This is something that you could potentially do, like, say, if you're killing small monsters or something like that. But for big monsters, I don't see myself using it all that often. But, you know, it's an option that you have there. So I figured I might as well talk about it. Now, there's another attack that you can do with the Greatsword, and that is the X plus A. And you know what this one is useful for? If there's a longsword player near you, you want to use this one to send them flying, because longsword players love flying, I hear. And for some reason, I can't even do the attack right now. Like, I'm trying to press both buttons at the same time. It is just not happening. There you go. Oh, you have to be sitting stationary. If you move, you don't get it. So this is one of those that you can't be moving while you're doing it. And even then, I'm missing it a lot. But yeah, there's a rising slash if you press X plus A. It sends other players flying. And other than that, I really don't know what else it's good for. It deals damage hitting on the backhand as well. So like if you're like this and you successfully do it instead of charging for whatever reason, like I keep doing, it'll hit on the backslide. But again, not really an important attack. I'm just doing it to give you guys an idea of what that's like. Now let's talk about a much more interesting thing, and that is dodging and pressing X, because that's going to go right into your tackle, and it's going to skip one of your charges, which can be a pretty interesting move if you're looking to just skip that first charge. You can basically dodge and tackle. And also, if the monster happens to be attacking you, you can basically dodge, and if you see that you're not going to be able to dodge the attack, you'll go like, okay, then I'll just tackle through it. Just bear in mind, you're going to tackle in the direction that you dodged, so, you know. But it's also very good for, like, approaching a monster. So say you're just trying to get closer to a monster and get started on your, you know, on your assault. You just go dodge into the monster, press X, then keep pressing X, you go into the second charge. Or you can even dodge into the monster, press X, start charging, press A for another one, and go straight into a true charge slash. And you know, you can do it out of a recovery animation as well. So like, oh, I'm recovering. And, oh, have another one. And straight into true charge slash. Because, I mean, you can tell by now that your biggest damage dealer is the true charge slash. So you want to make sure that you get there as fast as you possibly can. Because that's going to be the most damage that you can usually do with the greatsword, right? Anyway, let's talk a little bit about aerial greatsword. There's not really a whole lot to say. It does have a new move, which is a very important one, which you guys will understand why. But a really cool thing about the greatsword is that when you jump off the ledge, very much like the hammer, because it's a charging weapon, you can almost like bunny hop. So you can go X, gives you a little bit more of airtime, which is pretty good. And when you're doing an aerial slash, you actually can keep the button hold pretty much the whole time, because it will still deal the attack at the end. So I would actually advise you not to release the button too soon, because you can charge it significantly while you're in the air, which is pretty damn good. It's pretty decent damage, although we don't really have like a decoration to really take advantage of aerial greatsword, so it's not going to be as good as it was in World. So I don't foresee, you know, ledge play being a big deal, but I could be completely wrong because I don't tend to play these weapons very often. But anyways, another attack that you can do off of aerial is pressing ZR, and you're going to do a plunging attack. Now, this plunging attack, through the fact that it hits multiple times, is once again one of those attacks that I would consider to be better if you have a lot of elemental damage or a lot of status effect on your weapon. You're going to be getting a little bit more value out of this attack. However, this attack becomes much more powerful when you pair it by pressing A immediately after, because it's going to take you straight into true charge slash. So basically, if you go from an aerial move with the ZR and then press A, your next X attack is going to be a true charge slash. So you get to do this. And true charge slash. Which is a pretty sweet shortcut, considering that you can basically do this from your neutral wire bug. So like, I have a wire bug tutorial video. For those of you who haven't watched it yet, I'd advise you to check that out. Basically, if you press ZL and X, you're going to go into an aerial wire bug. And then you can press ZR to do a plunging attack. And after that, you go into A, and you can go straight into true charge slash, which is kind of like a significant shortcut. So you could do this. Boom! Right there. That's one of the fastest ways to get to true charge slash, by the way. So, there you go. That's kind of like your aerial greatsword. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any sliding moves like the hammer. But still, this kind of gives you the basics before we get to like some more advanced stuff like the silk binds and whatnot. Again, like I said, the greatsword is not a particularly complex weapon. It's all about landing these charged attacks. So the execution of the greatsword comes in you basically being a really good hunter and knowing how big the openings are going to be so that you can get to that true charge slash, or so that you can inflict as much damage as possible. So this is one of those weapons whose output is going to be very directly proportional to how good you are at playing the game. You know, I know that a lot of weapons have that, right? But I think the greatsword is the one that has the biggest, like, scaling with that. The weapon that scales the most with your own personal skill. But now, let's talk about the different silkbind moves that you have. And we're going to be starting by Power Sheath, because Power Sheath I consider to be the most important move of the greatsword in Monster Hunter Rise. So this is ZL and A, and you can point it at any direction that you want. And it sheathes your weapon and gives you that blue aura around your arm. What does that do? It increases the damage that you deal with greatsword. Boom. 551. So like if we were to go all the way into a true charge slash, we'd be seeing even bigger numbers that we've seen so far. But I think I'm about to run out of buff. Yep, I ran out of the buff. And we're currently in green sharpness, so we lost a little bit of sharpness. But I do have speed sharpening, so it should be fairly easy to get us back up there. But yeah, ZL and A, power sheath, and this is something that you always want to do. As a matter of fact, instead of sheathing like I've been sheathing this whole time, by going into running, that's usually the way that I sheath. I just press the R button and sheath, right? You usually don't want to sheath like that. The way that you sheath your weapon from now on, the greatsword, is the LNA. Boom. Because that gives you invincibility frames while you're doing it, and it buffs your attack after you've done it. It's like, oh, need to get out of harm's way? Boom. Dodge out of the way and sheath. Right? Oh, monster's attacking? Peace out. So you get invincibility frames, you get the buff, you get everything. It sheathes your weapon, you're ready to go. It is perfect for hit and run tactics, and it even buffs your damage. So this is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful moves of the greatsword right now. Okay? ZLNA, remember, use it. Don't cheat like you normally would unless you're completely out of wire bugs. Just go straight into power sheet, ZL plus A. Now, the other Silkbind attack that you get, I hate it. I don't like it at all. And I've said this repeatedly, and I've heard a lot of people say that they don't like it either. It's fun, it's flashy, it's dumb. What does it do? Well, you press ZL and X, it sends you flying at the monster, and if you hit it, it does a jump. And it uses 2 wire bugs for that. And it's a pain to land in moving monsters. So, like, if the monster is moving, for you to land this attack, good luck. And if the monster is too far, you're not going to get the second jump off of it either. So, that is one of the reasons why I don't like this skill. But obviously, you're supposed to follow it up with an aerial attack. So you go ZLX, and then while you're in the air, X again, and you can do, like, a charge attack from the air. So it's like, it's fancy, but it uses up 2 wire bugs for that, when in reality, if I want to do an aerial attack, I can just sheath my weapon, ZL and X, and boom. Look at that. And it only costs 1 wire bug, and it recovers significantly faster than using Hunting Edge. So, I don't understand what they were thinking with this particular skill. Like, I get it, it's flashy, it's fun to use, but from an effectiveness standpoint, the cost of 2 wire bugs makes it almost unusable for me, because with 1 wire bug, I can get almost the same effect. You know, I did miss, I realize I am missing. But, you know, you guys get the idea. You can do what Hunting Edge does without using Hunting Edge. So, therefore, it kind of becomes a little bit pointless in my book. But, you know, it's there, and it's there, I think, mostly for style. So, like, if you want to style on a monster and you want to get, like, a cool clip or something, then sure, go ahead, use Hunting Edge, have a blast. You can have some fun with it, but I still think that it's more efficient to just straight up use something else. And on that note, let's get rid of Hunting Edge and show you guys Adamant Charge Slash. Now, Adamant Charge Slash, I consider to be a much better skill. Basically, this is a positional skill. So say, like, you know, you sheath your weapon with power sheath, you got your buff, and then you're like, oh, the monster's over there. Boom. Go right in. Bam. So that is a very simple attack, though, right? It's only like 300 damage, not really a big deal. But the thing about that attack is that you can charge it. So you can go right at the monster, hold X immediately after. Boom. Considerably better, am I right? And, obviously, as with most skills that operate like this, it has its hyper armor, so you still take damage, but you can go through attacks if you want to, as long as you time it correctly. And in my book, that makes it a really good skill. The one thing that I would like from Adamant, Charged Adamant Slash is for it to follow up on your current charge level. So, as you can see, whenever you do it, you're gonna get like the level 2 charge. The strong charge slash. Whereas, I would like it if, you know, if I do 1, and then I do the 2, and then I would do this, I'd like to go straight into the true charge slash, but unfortunately it doesn't do that. But, you know, it doesn't have to. It's mostly a positional skill to kind of like give you openings and give you invincibility, not invincibility frames, but hyper armor and whatnot. That's the main point of the Adamant charge slash. So, you know, you get your hyper armor, you get a pretty decent hit in, and you can follow it up with true charge slash as well, because if you keep attacking after this, you're going to go straight true charge slash. So, you know, I still think it is a very, very good skill, particularly when compared to the option, which is Hunting Edge. it's not even really a choice. Now let's switch gears and talk about a different switch skill. You guys still remember the tackle, right? It's like the thing that you can do if you're in the middle of a charge and you press A, it goes into a tackle, and that allows you to skip a charge. You can do it twice to go straight into a true charge slash if you want to. Not to mention that you can also do that from a dodge. So basically if you dodge in any direction, you press X, goes into a tackle. Lets you go straight into the second charge. And that tackle also happens to have super armor, hyper armor, whatever you want to call it, if you hit it just right, like so. And you can go through attacks. Right, you guys remember that? Well, there's a switch skill that replaces the tackle. And that skill is the guard tackle. And now I know you guys wonder, okay, so Rurikhan, what's the difference between regular tackle and guard tackle? The very first thing is the animation commitment. As you can see, it's got a much bigger animation window than regular tackle. So regular tackle is faster. That's number one. However, other than that, you know, pretty much anything that regular tackle can do, the guard tackle can also do. It just takes it a little bit longer. But the cool thing about it taking longer is that also means that you're protected longer. See, because during all of those frames in which the sword is in front of you, it counts as if you were blocking. But it's not just like regular blocking. It's more like super blocking or something, because you don't actually need guard in order to block big hits. Like, for instance, you couldn't block this hit without getting sent back unless you had guard. But with guard tackle, you can. And it's really, really, really cool, because it gives you, you know, there's more animation commitment. Yes, it takes longer to do. Yes, but you're also protected for a longer period of time as well. Like right there. During all of those frames in which the sword is in front of you, you are going to be protected. But that's not all. See, because guard tackle has another trick up its sleeve. Now, guard tackle, very much like regular tackle, can skip you through different charges, right? Like right now we're in the second charge. And then if you do it again, like, you know, you can keep doing guard tackle and you eventually get into true charge slash. But the really cool thing about guard tackle is that if you actually block an attack while you are doing it, you don't skip one charge, you skip two of them. And you go straight into true charge slash. Now that I can get behind, and pretty much ever since I got guard tackle, I haven't looked back. And here's the thing, I'm not big into greatsword, so maybe there's a reason to use regular tackle, like maybe if you want to be faster or something. But for someone like me, it's like, dude, I want them meaty chops. I like guard tackle, and I think that guard tackle is also more forgiving than regular tackle because, again, you're protected for a longer period of time. I tend to use that one more often than regular tackle, but just keep in mind, if you actually block something, it takes you straight into your last charge attack, and if that one happens to be Rage Slash, then basically you're going to be very well protected all throughout, because even if you get hit while you're charging this, the attack is still going to go off and you're just going to deal more damage. So this is a very easy way. If you can predict a move that a monster is about to do and you know that you can guard tackle through it, then you can instantly punish that move with a Rage Slash, and that is pretty beast. Or even a True Charge Slash, depending on which one you have equipped. So yeah, guard tackle, gotta love it. And finally, let's take a look at the big one, the switch skill that replaces the True Charge Slash. And the name of it is the Rage Slash. So what do you get with the Rage Slash? Well, for starters, let's take a look at the animation, which is quite different from the animation that we know from True Charge Slash. So True Charge Slash is your third charge. So right now we're doing 1, 2, now we're going for the third. This is the Rage Slash. So you can instantly tell the animation is different. It is no longer 2 hits, it is only 1. But one of the really cool things about Rage Slash is that you can basically reposition it to a completely different direction in any angle that you could possibly want. So like 1, 2, now let's go into Rage Slash and watch me just do like a full 180. Full 180, and you know, you can basically turn it anywhere that you want. It's like, oh, you want it to go to the right side instead because the monster moved while you were doing your sequence of charges. It's like, okay, no problem. Boom. So you can basically aim this in any direction that you want, making it a lot more versatile than True Charge Slash, which has a much bigger animation commitment, and also you know, you can't adjust it as much as you can Rage Slash, which you can just adjust on the fly. But even more important than that, Rage Slash has invincibility frames. So I'm going to go into a couple of tackles here, and here you go. Boom. Because we're doing Rage Slash, we don't get moved. Now, you still take damage, but you don't get interrupted from your animation, which is pretty damn good. So let me actually show you guys again. See, here comes the Bigfoot. Don't care. Boom. Rage Slash. And in the skill description, it also tells you that if you actually take damage while you are in the middle of a True Charge Slash, then you're going to deal additional damage. However, that's not super easy to test out because this dummy doesn't actually deal damage. It just kind of like pushes you around, or if he does deal damage, it's so little that it doesn't really seem to have a visible effect, even though I know that I just did like a 500 something hit, whereas the other ones were like 300, but I think that might have either been Brutal Strike or I just hit a different spot. But basically, Rage Slash is one of those skills that I would use if I'm fighting a monster that I'm not as familiar with, or a monster that is particularly more agile than you know, than usual. So if you're fighting a very agile monster, the Rage Slash is easier to hit. If you're fighting a monster that is giving you troubles, the Rage Slash is much more forgiving than True Charge Slash. And if it's just, you know, if you're just starting out with the weapon and you have access to Rage Slash, I would actually recommend, you know, start off with Rage Slash, and then once you get used to Rage Slash, then if you want to experiment with the True Charge Slash, then go for that. But ultimately, Rage Slash is just something that gives the Greatsword some much needed versatility, and it makes it easier for you to land that third charge at the cost of dealing less damage than a True Charge Slash. So True Charge Slash is still the king of damage, but Rage Slash still gets the job done whilst allowing you to completely reposition at the drop of a dime and not be interrupted while you are charging it. So now, let's get on the combos. Now when it comes to combos for the Greatsword, like I said at the start of this video, it's more about judging the openings that you have with the monster more so than memorizing any particular combos. The most basic combo of this weapon is obviously your 3 charges, so you can basically go up to the monster, just like number 1 charge, remember to release when you reach the white glow, number 2 charge, and then number 3 charge. And all you gotta do is just basically press in a direction and press and keep X pressed, then release, press in the direction again, keep X pressed, and then release, and do it again. You do this 3 times, you get your basic combo. Now, there are a couple of things that you can add in between, which is on the second charge, you can add an A input if you have a really, really big opening. So you go from this charge into the strong wide slash, and then you can do X again and go to the final True Charge Slash or Rage Slash, depending on what you have equipped. That combo is going to work better if your weapon has a significant amount of either elemental damage or status ailment or something like that. That is one of the combos that you might want to do. But also remember that the idea here is to get into True Charge Slash as fast as possible. So one of the combos that I would actually recommend is, you know, after you power Sheathe, you can basically jump by pressing ZL and X, then press ZR, then press A, and then go into X, and that's going to get you right into True Charge Slash or Rage Slash, depending on which one you have equipped. So that's the aerial combo. Remember, ZL and X, ZR, A, into X. That is going to give you True Charge Slash right there. Boom. But you can also skip a charge level by dodging and going into a tackle. So Just dodge in the direction of the monster that you're about to attack and press X. You're going to go into a tackle, then instantly press X again. It's going to take you into a second charge, and then you can press X again and go into a true charge slash. Or, if you still want to do that A attack in between, you can do that too. So you basically dodge towards the monster, press X, then charge it into that second charge, and then A, and then X. Now, the advantage of using the dodge as your starter is that it also allows you some leeway in terms of positioning. So if the monster's a little bit far away, you can just like dodge into an X, and you're good to go. And remember, you can also just instantly do another tackle and go straight into true charge slash. So you can just interrupt that charge, go straight into a second tackle, and boom. And this works with both guard tackle as well as regular tackle. So you just go, okay, X, now as you're charging A, and now you press X again, and you go true charge slash. Again, another really fast way of getting into true charge slash. And the really cool thing about that one is that if instead of using true charge slash, you are using rage slash, then you're pretty much protected throughout the entirety of the combo. So like you dodge here, into X, you're protected there, you're protected here, and then finally, even when you're doing the final hit, you're still protected. So long as the hit comes off, so long as the hit itself doesn't happen during an attack, at which point the monster can interrupt you. But like, in between those, there's very little windows of vulnerability for you, so that is something to consider as well, particularly, again, with Rage Slash. And now another thing is that, once again, in case you guys weren't paying attention with the guard tackle, and the main reason why I choose to use guard tackle, like, if you actually get hit in the middle of that tackle, you're going to go straight into your final charge, which is pretty damn sweet. Particularly if that charge happens to be Rage Slash, then you're just like protected all throughout. So you go like this. Now I'm still protected, and boom. And that is pretty beast, because basically all you got to do is make sure that you tackle into an attack, and you go straight. Oops, kind of messed that one up. But so long as you guard tackle into an attack, then you're going to straight up skip all of the charges and go straight into the final charge. But that's greatsword for you, and like I always say, I give you guys the basics, I give you guys some tips that I have, and ultimately, mastering this weapon ends up always being on the hunter himself. And like I said, this is one of those weapons that if you do not know the monster that you're fighting against, it is going to be frustrating as hell until you learn that monster, because it's all about judging when the openings are going to happen, or playing defensively until those openings appear. Okay? If you guys are wondering, I think the most beginner-friendly set of switch skills, in my opinion, would be Guard Tackle, Rage Slash, and Adamant Charge Slash. I mean, I wouldn't really use Hunting Edge personally. Adamant Charge Slash can be a little bit tricky. If you're not too used to it, you might just end up doing this, just like doing one attack. But even then, you can still go through attacks of enemies, so it's still fine. It's not really a big deal. But yeah, those are the switch skills that I would recommend for a newcomer to the Greatsword. But personally, I just love that True Charge Slash, and that's what I end up using. But anyway, it's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, hit it up with a like. If you did not enjoy it, hit it up with a dislike. Feedback is important. Usually enjoy my content. Subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong. Stay safe. Peace out.